All right, Shalom to the elect. I want to start by giving all the praises, honor, and glory to whom it rightfully belongs, which is Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. And what I said was I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, who is the Heavenly Father, in the name of his Son Yahweh Shai, all right, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus, in the name of the Holy Spirit, all right. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the elect. And this lesson gonna, Lord willing, be titled Daniel 7, the Four Beasts and Little Horn, Prophecy and History. Because I was just, thinking of a lesson and recently went over this. All right, in this chapter. All right, so I wanted, go into the four beasts as well as some history, in the later parts. So Lord willing, this lesson is edifying. All right. But this is Daniel 7:1, and you see the subtitle says Vision of the Four Beasts. And it's the thing, man, and these rulers who had great kingdoms and all of that, and these empires that were upon the face of the earth that rose up and fell and everything. Little do they know that they were all controlled by Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. The Lord is the one that was in control. See? And he gave unto his prophets, visions of things and prophecies and prophesied about these different things, man. But see, the Lord, and I ain't gonna get into, the kingdom of heaven, but, well, Lord willing, but, the Lord is saving the best kingdom for last. Okay? And to reign forever, which is the kingdom of heaven. But let me start, man, because it is some history in this. And if you hear any noise in the background, Babakusha Salakia. All right. So this is the book of Daniel, chapter 7 and verse 1. In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matters. All right. Now, let's look up the word Daniel, or the name Daniel. Strong's H 1841, just for edification, is Danya Allah. All right. And Dan, or Don, D-A-N, all right, means judge. And the Yah at the end means my, so my judge, right? And then this part here, this latter part is Allah, which we know means God, all right? So it says down here, God is my judge, all right? Danya Allah, that's what his name means. Verse 2, Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of the heavens strove upon the great sea. Verse 3, and four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. And these beasts, well, let's see, are these literal beasts? No, it's not. All right. Because down here, jumping down to verse 17, it says, these great beasts, which are four kings, which shall arise out of the earth. Okay. And, they're not literal kings, but, pretty much, they're kingdoms. All right. These are kingdoms. Okay. So let's continue. All right. Verse 3. And then the thing is, right, when you go back to Daniel, the second chapter, and, breaks down so like, and it breaks down, the statue. You can see here that, it, even expounds on the statue, on the kingdoms and things. Because these kingdoms that rise and fall that it's talking about here, these are kingdoms that, pretty much these major kingdoms that would come to be before Yahweh Shai makes his return. Okay? These are major kingdoms that would rise to be, all right, before Yahweh Shai comes back and sets up shop, right? So verse 4 says, the first was like a lion and had eagle's wings. And this is talking about the Assyrian Empire, all right? And even, looking it up, all right, as the brother had pointed out, let me just go here, Assyrian Empire, you can just see, okay, the Assyrian Empire, pretty much, like for example, this, slacking for the background noise once again. All right, but the Assyrian Empire. Okay, you can see, like it has different things that pretty much even show that this is Assyrian Empire. Okay, but I didn't really want to bring up too many tabs on Syria and Babylon and things. In the latter verses, I brought more tabs, because I would just be there all day making tabs. All right, but it says the first was like a lion and had eagle's wings. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked, and it was lifted up from the earth. Meaning, pretty much that Babylon, the Babylonian Empire, came and overtook the Assyrian Empire. Okay, that's what it's talking about. All right. Wait just 1 second here. Unlock you. It says, and when it was lifted up from the earth and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. So yeah, pretty much, the Babylonian Empire came and overtook the Assyrian Empire. Verse 5. Okay. And behold, another beast, a second like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side. Right now, this here is talking about what is known as the first two. I would fly, just flying through it, kind of. All right, but it says, and behold, another beast. It says, but behold, another beast, a second like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had three. And this is once again talking about the Medo-Persian Empire, right? Let me just get the picture ready. All right. It says it raised up itself on one time because, though the Medes had come up first, the Persians, the Persians, became more exalted. All right. So when it says it raised up itself on one side, pretty much it had, it was more exalted. All right. Then it says, Salakia, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it, and they said thus unto it, arise, devour much flesh. Okay. And when you look at the Medo-Persian Empire, all right, you could see the different the areas they conquered, the 3 different empires they conquered, all right, and the areas they conquered towards, Babylonia, okay, Lydia, which is over here, all right, Egypt, all right. So, you just see the 3 different empires and the directions, they conquered towards, which is 3. Okay. They pretty much show you in other in other maps. See, even here, it says the Medo-Persian Empire, you see, and this is on a website, but you see, even they understand that this is talking about the Medo-Persian Empire. All right. So let's go back. It says, arise, devour much flesh. Okay, the Lord is the one that sets up these kings and takes them down. Okay. Let me get this. Psalm 75. I believe it's Psalm 75. Bear with me 1 second. This loads. Okay, yeah. This is the book of Psalm, chapter 75, starting in verse 6. For promotion cometh neither from the east, nor from the west, nor from the south. And like the brother, I believe his name is Micah Allah, from GMS Inspiration of the Almighty, he was saying, notice how it didn't say north, because north is upwards, and up is, pretty much in the direction of the Most High, showing you that the Most High is in control, right? Verse 7, see? But Yahweh is the judge. He putteth down one and setteth up another. You see? So these different kingdoms, including America, okay, that fell and rose, all right? The Lord is the one that controls all of that, all right? He controlled all these kingdoms falling and rising, all right? We're in the Lord's movie, okay? We are literally in Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai's movie. Actually, let me get this one. Daniel chapter 2. And starting at verse 19, it says, Then was the secret revealed unto Daniel in a night vision. Then Daniel blessed the God of heaven. Verse 20, Daniel answered and said, Blessed be the name of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai forever and ever, for wisdom and might are his. Here's the point, verse 21, And he changeth the times and the seasons. He removeth kings and setteth up kings. He giveth wisdom unto the wise and knowledge to them that knoweth understanding. But you see it says, He removeth kings and setteth up kings. You see? So the Lord is the one that controls these different empires. And even with the so-called white man, all right? Esau doesn't understand that the Lord is the one that controls, pretty much Esau doesn't understand that the Lord is the one that controlled them even getting into power, okay? But they don't understand that they're about to fall, all right? Verse 6, After this I beheld, and lo, another, like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. All right, now, so we just went from the Medo-Persian Empire, and now let's see what comes next, right? Well, I typed it on Google. What empire rose after Medo-Persia? It says the third empire is clearly the Greek Empire, which conquered the Medo-Persian Empire. You see? So after the Medo-Persian Empire came the Greeks, the Greek Empire. What empire came into the Persian Empire? It says the Achaemenid Empire, founded by Cyrus the Great, which, once again, the Medo-Persian Empire, was the largest empire the world had seen, spanning from the Balkans to North Africa and Central Asia. They were succeeded by the Seleucid, Parthian, and Saracen empires, governed around for almost 1,000 years, making Iran a leading power once again. All right, who ruled as Medo-Persia? Pretty much, the Greek Empire came up after them. Okay, you see. So let's dissect it even more. Let's get into it even more. So verse 6 again. After this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. Okay. And this is talking about the Greek Empire. All right. It says the beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. All right. And once again, this is talking about Alexander the Greek, and then his 4 generals that arose after he had died. Okay. So let's look this up. Alexander the Great. That's what people know him as. But let's hear brothers here in GMS. We call him Alexander the Greek or Alexander the Creep. All right, it's Alexander the Third of Macedon. Salakia says, most commonly known as Alexander the Great, was a king of the ancient Greek kingdom of Macedon. He succeeded his father Philip II to the throne in 336 BC at the age of 20, and spent most of his ruling years conducting a lengthy military campaign throughout Western Asia, Central Asia, parts of South Asia, and Egypt. And understand, right? It says succeeded, all right, because that was, how a lot of kingdoms pretty much were ran back then. They would succeed. The king would be succeeded, maybe by someone after him or their son, etc. Right? Just making that as a note for later. Right? And it says, by the age of 30, he had created one of the largest empires in history, stretching from Greece to northwestern India. He was undefeated in battle and is widely considered to be one of history's greatest and most successful military commanders. And there's a picture of him on the right. All right, this is until the age of 16. All right, so this man, right, it said pretty much it says what? At the age of 20. So he really, at the age of 20, he was, conquering, okay? And it says here, he was undefeated in battle and is widely considered to be one of history's greatest and most successful military commanders. Now I'm going to stop here. I'm going to come back, Lord willing. Let me just get this. This is First Maccabees, chapter 1. It says in the Apocrypha, and it says, and it happened, so it's like in First Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 1, and it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, hold on, this is in the Bible now. And it just said Alexander the Third, or of Macedon, most commonly known as Alexander the Great. Let me highlight this. Most commonly known as Alexander the Great, was a king of the ancient Greek kingdom of Macedon. He succeeded his father Philip II to the throne. So these people who don't believe in the Bible, how is the Bible not real when the Bible literally has history in it? You know, how is the Bible not real? It says here that he was the son of Philip. All right, and here in the Bible it says, and it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip. See, it calls him the son of Philip in the Bible. And even with the previous examples that we had. So how was the Bible not real? You know, these people in the world just stupid, man. It says the Macedonian who came out of the land of Chedum had smitten Darius, king of the Persians and Medes, that he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece, and made many wars, and won many strongholds, and slew the kings of the earth, and went through to the ends of the earth, and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him, whereupon he was exalted, and his heart was lifted up. So this man Alexander the Great, he had conquered a lot. You see? It said, I'm going to read it again. It says, he succeeded his father Philip II to the throne in 336 BC at the age of 20, and spent most of his ruling years, Salakia, conducting a lengthy military campaign throughout Western Asia, central parts of South Asia, and Egypt. By the age of 30, he had created one of the largest empires in history, stretching from Greece to northwestern India. He was undefeated in battle, and is widely considered to be one of history's greatest and most successful military commanders. So you see, he he was, getting busy pretty much, right? And once again, this is one of his pictures, one of the paintings or art pictures of Alexander. All right. And there's others. And he was an Edomite, okay? A so-called white man. Right now it says until the age of 16, Alexander was tutored by Aristotle. This is just getting some background on it, all right? It says in 335 BC, shortly after his assumption of, and this also goes to show that there's more than to this truth than just calling the so-called white man the devil, right? It says in 335 BC, shortly after his assumption of kingship over Macedon, he campaigned in the Balkans and reasserted control over Thrace and parts of Illyria, if I'm saying that right, before marching on the city of Thebes, which was subsequently destroyed in battle. Alexander then led the League of Corinth and used his authority to launch the Pan-Hellenic project envisaged by his father, assuming leadership over all Greeks in their conquest of Persia. And also about this Hellenic thing, or you hear the term Hellenist, all right, or Hellenization, right? I believe that they say that started after his death, after the death of Alexander the Greek. And Hellenism is pretty much when he, tried to spread that Greek way of life, that Greek culture over, the people at the time. So when you see in the New Testament, when it talks about Greeks getting, pretty much believing and coming to the truth, those were Hellenized Israelites. You see? These Christians don't understand that, man. They think all nations can be saved, but no. You gotta understand history, man. Okay? But, let me make this other point, right? So this leopard is talking about Alexander the Greek, right? It says, after this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. Now watch this, right? It says, the beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it, right? So this beast had 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. Now let me get a precept. First Maccabees chapter 1. Now, verse 4, starting from verse 4, right? It says, and he talking about Alexander the Great, and he gathered a mighty strong host and ruled over countries and nations and kings who became tributaries unto him. And after these things he fell sick and perceived that he should die. Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died. And his servants bare rule everyone in his place. And after his death they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth. Right? So evils were multiplied in the earth, man. All right, but it says he parted his kingdom among his servants, right? Now, there's a term, okay, here, right? When you scroll down on the Alexander the Great on Wikipedia, right? And the thing about Wikipedia is it says the free encyclopedia. And let me just get that term encyclopedia real quick. Let me just out the way, encyclopedia. It says a book or set of books giving information on many subjects or on many aspects of one subject, and typically arranged alphabetically. So Wikipedia has, some good information in here, but, we're lining these things up with the scriptures. Okay? We're examining this through the scriptures, man, to show things, right? Let me see here. I scroll down to it. No. I didn't even open those. All right. Let me just scroll down to where I saw. Okay, so division of the Macedonian Empire. Here we go. Right. Now it says Alexander's death was so sudden that when reports of his death reached Greece, they were not immediately believed. Alexander had no obvious or legitimate heir. His son Alexander the IV, I believe it is, by Roxanne, being born after Alexander's death. According to Diodorus, Alexander's companions asked him on his deathbed to whom he bequeathed his kingdom. Bequeath meaning like to give or pass down something, pretty much, right? So it says Alexander's companions asked him on his bed to whom he passed down his kingdom, or bequeathed his kingdom. His laconic reply was toward, I don't know how to say that, but it says to the strongest. All right. Now it says, let me just jump down, okay? Because then getting something else, but getting to the point. It says dissension and rivalry soon affected the Macedonians. The satrapies handed out by Perdiccas at the partition of Babylon became power bases each general used to bid for power. After the assassination of Perdiccas in 321 BC, Macedonian unity collapsed, and 40 years of war between the successors, Diadochi, ensued before the Hellenistic world settled into three stable power blocks. All right. And then it tells you those power blocks, right? But let me see. So all right. So now let's look up the Diadochi. Okay. Diadochi. It says the Diadochi, meaning successors, were the rival generals, families, and friends of Alexander the Great, who fought for control over his empire after his death in 323 BC. The wars of the Diadochi marked the beginning of the Hellenistic period from the Mediterranean Sea to the Indus River Valley. Pretty much the Diadochi are, like the scripture said, in First Maccabees 1. It says it happened, verse 6, wherefore he called his servants such as were honorable, and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them while he was yet alive. See? So these Diadochi, they're pretty much these friends of Alexander, all right, pretty much that they pretty much, were the ones that he part of this kingdom amongst, right? It says the most notable Diadochi include Ptolemy, Antigonus, Cassander, and Seleucus. So it's four. You see in the scripture said what? It says, Daniel 7:6, the beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. You see? Let me get in the next chapter, actually. Read this. Daniel chapter 8, starting at verse 1. In the 3rd year, it says vision of the ram and goat. In the 3rd year of the reign of King Belshazzar, a vision appeared unto me, even unto me, Daniel, after that which appeared unto me at the first. And I saw in a vision, and it came to pass, when I saw that I was at Shushan in the palace, which is in the province of Elam, and I saw in a vision, and I was by the river Ulai. Then I lifted up mine eyes and saw, and behold, there stood before the river a ram which had 2 horns. And the 2 horns were high, but one was higher than the other, and the higher came up last. See, this is talking about what? The Medo-Persian Empire. You know, you had the Medes and the Persians ruling, right? But once again, the Persians, all right, were that more exalted. Remember, it said in Daniel the 7th chapter, it raised up itself on one side. All right. So this is the Medo-Persian Empire that's being talked about. All right, that Daniel saw in the vision as a ram. Okay. Verse 4 says, I saw the ram pushing westward, northward, and southward. And these are what? Those 3 ribs, talking about the directions and thing that, in the empires they conquered, in the direction they conquered towards, had control over, right? See, those are those 3 ribs from Daniel 7. So it says, so that no beast might stand before him, neither was there any that could deliver out of his hand, but he did according to his will and became great. So the Lord Yahweh, all right, Bahashim Yahweh Shai set up this pretty much set up the Persians and Medes, all right, in power. All right, verse 5. And as I was considering, behold, an he-goat came from the west on the face of the whole earth, and touched not the ground, and the goat had a notable horn between his eyes. All right, and this is talking about who? Other than your Alexander the Great, right? By the way, when it said up here, so that no beast might stand before him, neither was any that could deliver out of his hand. It's once again it's about the Medo-Persian Empire, because no nation could withstand the power of the Medo-Persian Empire. All right. But verse 5, it says, and as I was considering, behold, an he-goat came from the west on the face of the whole earth, and touched not the ground, and the goat had a notable horn between his eyes. All right. And this is talking about Alexander the Great. It breaks it down, later on in the chapter, right? Verse 6, and he came to the ram that had 2 horns, which I had seen standing before the river, and ran unto him in the fury of his power. Verse 7, and I saw him come close unto the ram, and he was moved with choler against him, and smote the ram, and brake his 2 horns. And there was no power in the ram to stand before him, but he cast him down to the ground, and stamped upon him, and there was none that could deliver the ram out of his hand. So this is talking about Alexander the Great coming in and taking down the Medo-Persian Empire, as I told you in 1 Maccabees, the 1st chapter and the 1st verse, as we read. See, verse 8. Therefore the he-goat waxed very great, and when he was strong, the great horn was broken, and for it came up 4 notable ones, Salakia, toward the 4 winds of heaven. Why everything is keeps saying 4? Because it's talking about those generals, those 4 generals Alexander the Great divided his empire before his death amongst, right? So he says, and 4 came up 4 notable ones toward the 4 winds of heaven. Daniel 7:6 says, the beast had 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. All right. And so once again, this Diadochi is what it's talking about. It says the most notable Diadochi include Ptolemy, Antigonus, Cassander, and Seleucus. See, as the last remaining at the end of the wars of the successors, ruling in Egypt, Asia Minor, Macedon, and Persia, respectively, all forging dynasties lasting several centuries. Okay, and I believe out of Seleucus is where it's that man's name, the damn devil. All right, Antiochus Epiphanes. All right, let me just see. Let me see his successor, Antiochus the first Soter. After him, his successor Antiochus second Theos. All right. Let me just see here. No, actually, let me go back. See the children. Second Theos. All right. His children. Under where it says issue here. Let's trying to see something. His successor is Seleucus. After him, Seleucus the third, Seronis. After him, Antiochus the third, the Great. All right. Let me just see. Salakia. I'm just trying to see which one it is. I have written down. Okay, so let me get back here. First Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 10. It says, so once again, right? So let me just see. Okay, turn for verse 9. And after his death, after Alexander's death, that says they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth, because this is the so-called white man, aka the wicked, the border of wickedness. All right, because they're wicked. That's why it calls them the border of wickedness. All right. Verse 10. And there came, and so that's something, let's realize something. So even since the ancient world, the so-called white man has been the wicked. So you see the so-called white man, no matter which one, however many one of them try to claim that they're not, that they're nice people, all right, or whatever, you know, the so-called white man has just been set up to be the wicked. Okay. Of course you have wicked Israelites, but they're not considered the wicked. The wicked is the so-called white man. That is what the Lord has set him up to be. All right. The devil, the Bible speaks of. The scriptures literally call the so-called white man the devil. All right. Now, of course, in the Bible, it's not, saying, it doesn't, say like these same exact words, the white man is the devil. Of course, it doesn't say that. Okay. Because people like to play that stupid game. But when you have the correct understanding, all right, and you're not emotional, you understand that the scriptures do indeed point to the so-called white man as being the devil that the Bible speaks of. Okay? It says, and evils were multiplied in the earth. So let me get a quick precept. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 4, verse 16. And it says, for they sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause him to fall. Yeah, the so-called white man is just evil like that, man. I'm now back here at 1 Maccabees 1 and 10. All right, so it says, and there came out of them, who? The Diadochi, one of the Diadochis, right? You got Ptolemy, Cassander, Antigonus, and then Seleucus, right? It says, and there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes. Okay. It says, son of Antiochus the king, who had been in hostage at Rome, and he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks. Okay. So when it says the wicked root Antiochus, surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king is this dude Antiochus the third, the great, him, right? And then it says his son. So let's go down here, right? So after Antiochus the third, his successor was Lucius the fourth, Philopater. All right. You see his successor, Antiochus. All right. Then after him is Antiochus the fourth. Epiphanes. It says Antiochus IV Epiphanes, or Antiochus Epiphanes IV, was a Greek Hellenistic king who ruled the Seleucid Empire from 175 BC until his death in 164 BC. He was a son of King Antiochus III the Great. You see that? Let's get the scriptures again. It says, and there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus surnamed Epiphanes, son of Antiochus the king, who had been in hostage at Rome. And he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of Greece. But it says, the son of Antiochus the king. Once again, man, the Bible is on point. You know, as always. It says he was a son of King Antiochus III the Great, originally named Mithridates, also alternative form of Mithridates. It says he assumed the name Antiochus after he ascended the throne. Notable events during. So matter of fact, let me just look up what these words mean. I never thought of that until now. All right. Come back to this, Lord willing. Let's look up those words, Antiochus and then Epiphanes. Antiochus. See if it comes up. Bear with me just 1 second as this loads. Lord willing. Okay. Antioch. Ancient city, modern Antakya in Turkey, anciently the capital of Syria, founded circa 300 BCE by Seleucus I Nictor, and named for his father, Antiochus. The name, also borne by several Syrian kings and an eclectic philosopher, is a Latinized form of Greek Antiochus, literally restraint, holding out against, from anti against, and ekine to have, hold, be in a given state or condition. All right, let me look up Epiphanes. Matter of fact, let me type it up here. Salakia. Antiochus. It says stubborn or resistant, one-eyed. Let's see if it has a meaning to it. You know. All right. But going back though. Salakia. I didn't see too much. All right. It says notable events. This is not just talking about Antiochus Epiphanes IV. Right? It says notable events during Antiochus' reign include his near conquest of Ptolemaic Egypt, his persecution of the Jews of Judea and Samaria, and the rebellion of the Jewish Maccabees. You see? So this is the Antiochus Epiphanes that we read about in the book of the Maccabees. Okay? And this is, one of the sculptures of him, man. This goddamn devil, man. You see, this so-called white man is not your friend. He is your enemy. You see? He's literally, the so-called white man is your enemy, man. All right, one of them. Because don't forget about the heathens. Reading a little bit here. Antiochus' ascension to the throne was controversial, and he was seen as a usurper by some. After the death of his brother Seleucus IV, Philopator, in 175 BC, the true heir should have been Seleucus' son, Demetrius I. However, Demetrius was very young and a hostage in Rome at the time, and Antiochus seized the opportunity to declare himself king instead. All right. It says, successfully rallying enough of the Greek ruling class in Antioch to support his claim, this helped set a destabilizing trend in the Seleucid Empire in subsequent generations, as an increasing number of claimants tried to usurp the throne. After his own death, power struggles between competing lines of the ruling dynasty heavily contributed to the collapse of the empire. All right, but that's the point. Antiochus Epiphanes IV, right? And There's something. All right. I wanted to get. Okay. I'm going to jump down a little bit. All right. Bear with 1 second. Let me get verse 20 and then jump some. It says, and after that Antiochus had smitten Egypt, he returned again in the 143rd year, and went up against Israel in Jerusalem with a great multitude, and entered proudly into the sanctuary, and took away the golden altar and the candlestick of light and all the vessels thereof. All right, so you can read down, all right, to verse 28, talking about some of the things he did, right? Verse 29, it says, and after 2 years fully expired, the king sent his chief collector of tribute unto the cities of Judah, who came unto Jerusalem with a great multitude, and spake peaceable words unto them, but all was deceit. You see? For when they had given him credence, right? Let's look at that word credence real quick. All right? Let's look that up. Credence. It says belief in or acceptance of something is true. Acceptance, belief, faith, trust. All right? So pretty much when they had trusted this person, right, that this devil has sent, to go collect tribute and everything, right? It says, for when they had given him credence, and when Jake finally, when Jake had, trusted him, it says he fell suddenly upon that city and smote it very sore and destroyed much people of Israel. So look at this to show, as another example to show you that the so-called white man is not your friend. Never trust thine enemy, man. You see? Never trust thine enemy. Like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Okay? So, we get the idea now. All right? We get the idea. And the Lord showed the prophet Daniel all of this, okay, before, it happened. Well, pretty much the Lord showed the prophet Daniel these different kingdoms that would rise and fall, okay? Now, we got that, okay? So, after that, let's move on, right? Now, I typed in here, actually, let me get this right. It says, verse 7, Daniel 7:7, after this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast. Now, what is this? So I typed in on Google, what empire rose after the Greeks? And here it says Byzantine Empire, right? But the people also ask, what empire came after the Greek Empire? The Roman Empire. It says the traditional date for the end of the classical Greek period is the death of Alexander the Great in 323 BC. And the period that follows is termed the Hellenistic, ending with the rise of the Roman Empire at the end of the first millennium BC. So after the Greek Empire fell, the Roman Empire came. And this is on Wikipedia, man. So how do people, once again, see the Bible as fake? It's not. It has history. Look, who took over after the Greek Empire? The Greek peninsula came under Roman rule during the 146 BC conquest of Greece at the Battle of Corinth. All right? So here, okay, let's continue. Daniel 7 and verse 7. After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly. Okay, wait 1 second, hold on. Salakia. All right. Right, it says, and it had great iron teeth, and it's talking about, the military, because the military, ancient Rome. This is talking about ancient Rome. This fourth beast. It's talking about the ancient Roman Empire. All right, because Rome, all right, their military literally had iron weapons and armor as well. Okay, they talk about using bronze somewhere. All right, but iron is definitely circulating, right? So I typed it on just Wikipedia, right? And here's Roman military personal equipment. So they used a couple of things, but some things I want to specifically look at, right? When you scroll through, there's some things I came across, all right? So this is one, all right? And this is called the Lorica Hamata, all right? It's Latin, all right? It says the Lorica Hamata from the Roman Republic to the Roman Empire. Lorica Hamata comes from the Latin hamatus, hooked, which means hooked, from hamus, which means hook, as the rings hook into one another, talking about the ancient Roman, the chain mail that they had, you see? The chain mail the guy has on this, pretty much the type of, like what pretty much, the Romans will wear this back in the ancient world, and it had iron in it, okay? Let me just jump down to the point. Forging, under forging, says the Lorica Hamata was mostly manufactured out of bronze or iron, okay? It says the armor was made from alternating rows of rings and rows of riveted rings, all right? It says the rings will be made from punching holes in iron sheets. The rings, so this armor says was made from all. I'm gonna highlight it. The armor was made from alternating rows of rings and rows of riveted rings. The rings would be made from punching holes in iron sheets. So the armor was made of rows of rings, all right, riveted rings. Okay, then the rings, all right, themselves would be made from punching holes in iron sheets. So the chainmail was made out of iron, okay, at least for the most part, all right. Jumping down here, just now seen this. It says these flaps were connected to the main armor through hooks made of. Hold on, let me start up. It says the Lorica Hamata contained flaps that ran from about mid-back to the front of the torso. These flaps were connected to the main armor through hooks made of either brass or iron that connected the studs riveted through the ends of the flaps. So, and this is once again the chainmail, all right, but this is Lorica Hamata, you see? This is a picture of it, all right? There's another picture. It says an Augustan period statue of a Gaulish soldier wearing a Roman Lorica Hamata, okay? And if you go to medieval times, you see, chainmail that you don't understand, all right? Let me just see what was chainmail. Matter of fact, let me see if they got it here. Says modern historians, just reading some jumping around. Modern historians believe that mail armor was invented by the Celts, with the idea for this form of mail possibly coming to Rome during conflicts with the Celts in the 3rd century BC. Lorica Hamata was used by both legionary and auxiliary troops. The first documented use occurred during the Roman conquest of Hispania. There were several versions of this type of armor, specialized for different military duties such as skirmishers, cavalry, and spearmen. Over its lifetime, the Lorica Hamata remained in constant use by legionaries, and it was the preferred armor of centurions, who favored its greater coverage and lower maintenance. Constant friction kept the rings of the Lorica Hamata free of rust. Only the richest soldiers could afford to wear it. During the early empire, depictions of emperors wearing either Lorica Hamata or Lorica Squamata were very rare. However, you pretty much get the point, all right? So now, all right, I'm going to get another one that was talked about, right? Now, this one is called the Lorica Squamata. Lorica Squamata is a type of scale armor used by the ancient Roman military, all right, during the Roman Republic at later periods. Let's see if I got a picture. Okay, so this is another type of armor. It says it was made from small metal scales sewn to a fabric backing. No examples of an entire Lorica Squamata have been found, but there have been several archaeological finds of fragments of such search and individual scales are quite common finds even in non-military contexts. All right, forging. The individual scale. So this is another sculpting of it, or a picture, okay, of these Romans that would wear it back then. It's another type of armor. The other one had rings, but this one has scales, okay? You see? So it says right here, under forging, the individual scales called squame, if I'm saying it right, were very small scales made of either iron or brass. And here's the thing, you see all this Latin, right? Now, the Romans, let's just look at if I got another tab open. All right, let me just type this in. What language did the Romans speak? All right, if you don't know already, all right, it says Latin. Latin and Greek were the dominant languages of the Roman Empire, but other languages were regionally important. Latin was the original language of the Romans and remained the language of imperial administration, legislation, and the military throughout the classical period. Okay, so the Romans, they spoke Latin, okay? And then this, remind me, because you read Deuteronomy chapter 28, because remember, the Romans came up against us in 70 AD, right? And, so let me get this. Is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth. And guess what? What was another one of the Roman symbols? Roman national symbol. Let me type in ancient Rome. Ancient Roman national symbol. And Aquila, classical Latin, all right, which means eagle, you see, was a prominent symbol used in ancient Rome, especially as the standard of a Roman legion. A legionary known as an aquila for the eagle bearer carried this standard. Each legion carried one eagle. So, and guess what? America also has. Let's type this in. All right. America national symbols. Eagle, the bald eagle. The founding fathers made an appropriate choice when they selected the bald eagle as the emblem of the nation. The fierce beauty and proud independence of this great bird aptly symbolizes the strength and freedom of America, but as later-day citizens, we shall fail our trust if we permit the eagle to disappear. All right, but look, all right. Point being that the so-called white man's, symbol is an eagle, man. Okay, and with the Romans, they had an eagle too. All right, but it says a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand, because what they came against us, right? And they spoke Latin. We didn't understand Latin. We spoke Hebrew, man. All right, verse 50, a nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young. Yeah, and they did this, they killed old Israelites and young Israelites. Verse 51, and he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land until thou be destroyed, which also shall not leave thee either corn, wine, or oil, or the increase of thy kind, or flocks of thy sheep, until he have destroyed thee. And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates, until thy high and fenced walls come down, wherein thou trustest throughout all thy land. And he shall besiege thee in all thy gates throughout all thy land, which Yahweh thy power hath given thee. And that's what they did, because Jerusalem had these high walls and things. All right, but the Romans, they took it down, and I believe one of those walls, okay, is or towers is Tower Antonia. All right. Antonia Fortress, or Slovakia. Let me see. Towers. So I believe reading over it. And Josephus says Wars of the Jews. All right. Okay, here. All right. It says Siege of Jerusalem 70 CE, which CE is pretty much the secular version of saying 70 AD. It's just saying AD pretty much, but for people who aren't religious. But let me just see here. Okay, look. Right here it says within 3 weeks, starting here, within 3 weeks the Romans broke the first 2 walls of the city, but a stubborn rebel standoff prevented them from penetrating the third and thickest wall. All right, but pretty much they were tearing down walls. Okay, that's what the Romans had done. All right, so just showing you, man. Just adding that in there as well. Okay, but going back to Daniel 7th chapter and this as well. Okay, but regarding this, all right, regarding this Lorica Squamata, I just wanted to add that in there, that information. But it says the individual scales called squame, which is Latin, because ancient Romans, they spoke Latin. It says were very small scales made of either iron or brass. All right. Now, all right, so there we have that as well. Okay. Now, another one that came to mind or I come across was this. And even these different video games like Assassin's Creed and stuff like that, and other video games, they show you they have these different terms in there. All right, now it says gladius. Gladius, which is classical Latin, this is a Latin word properly referring to the type of sword that was used by ancient Roman foot soldiers starting from the 3rd century BC until the 3rd century AD. Linguistically, within Latin, the word also came to mean sword, regardless of the type used. Okay? And this also, man, shows you that Esau, man, this is Esau because guess what? What was Esau's blessing? What was part of Esau's blessing? The sword. By thy sword shalt thou live. Right? It says early ancient Roman swords were similar to those of the Greeks. All right, it says from the 3rd century BC, however, the Romans adopted a weapon based on the sword of the Celtiberians of Hispania in service to Carthage during the Punic Wars, known in Latin as the Gladius Hispaniensis, meaning Hispanic type sword. The Romans improved the weapon, modified it depending on how their battle units waged war, and created over time new types of gladius, such as the Mainz gladius and the Pompey gladius. Finally, in the 3rd century AD, the heavy Roman infantry replaced the gladius with the spada, and I'm about to get to that in a minute, already common among Roman cavalrymen, relegating the gladius as a weapon for light Roman infantry. All right, but let me just see, again, scrolling down. Manufacturing, okay? It says, by the time of the Roman Republic, which flourished during the Iron Age, steel in the steel-making process was known to the classical world. Pure iron is relatively soft, but pure iron is never found in nature. Natural iron ore contains various impurities in solid solution, which harden the reduced metal by producing irregular shaped metallic crystals. The gladius was generally made out of steel. Okay, and this is the one you see in the movies. I think I saw it too in the that movie that came out with them Jakes, pretty much with the book of it was one that came out, it was a recent one, a Jake back in Jerusalem, and Jake was acting like he was the Messiah. The book of Clarence, okay. I believe there were Roman soldiers in there, all right, and they had, I believe I saw the swords, them wielding swords there, okay, but it says the gladius was generally made out of steel. Now, I type this in, right? Does steel have iron? Steel is a type of iron alloy, and alloy is pretty much a mixture of metals, right? It says it has a lower carbon content than cast and wrought iron, and it features other alloying elements to give it its properties. Like iron, there are different types of steel, but all of them contain iron. So, nevertheless, it still had iron in it, okay? So, you ready that? And now, let's look at this one, spada, right? And, let me get a picture of it real quick. Spada is pretty much, a long sword. All right. I don't even got to read that. It's pretty much a long sword. All right. But, all right, this is telling me what it had in it. All right, but They used iron. Okay, I don't gotta go into every single, every single weapon used by the ancient Roman military, but but you see why the scripture says, and it had great iron teeth, so because the military used iron. The military used iron, man. All right. It says to devour it and break in pieces and stamp the residue with the feet of it. Meaning the Roman Empire pretty much they conquered. Okay, they conquered a lot. Most of that known world pretty much. All right, they conquered. All right. It says in it, the Roman Empire was diverse, meaning different, from all the beasts that were before it. Meaning from all those different empires before it, it was different from it. And how was it different? How was the Roman Empire, ancient Roman Empire, different from the beasts before it, from the empires before it? Let's get this really quick. This is First Maccabees, chapter 8, right? First Maccabees, chapter 8, and verse 1, just to get some context, he was talking about. It says, now Judas had heard of the Romans, that they were mighty and valiant men, and such as would lovingly accept all that join themselves unto them, and make a league of enmity with all that came unto them, right? So this is talking about the Romans, right? Now let's jump down to verse 14, all right? Yet for all of this, it says, yet for all this, none of them wore a crown, or was clothed in purple to be magnified thereby. Moreover, how they had made for themselves, let me keep reading. Verse 15, moreover, how they had made for themselves a senate house, wherein 320 men sat in council daily, consulting always for the people, to the end they might be well ordered, and that they committed their government to one man every year, who ruled over all their country, and that all were obedient to that one, and there was neither envy nor emulation among them. So the Romans, unlike the different empires before them, they had, because the different empires, once again, as I mentioned before, the successors and everything, after a king had died, the king would have a successor, maybe his child, all right, somebody ruling after him, okay, that would, but the Roman Empire was different, okay. They had a senate house, okay. Pretty much, they said they committed their government to one man, right? Ruled over all their country. So this is how that beast is diverse, from all the beasts that were before it. All right. So the Roman Empire's government was different. And guess what? Guess what else about the Roman Empire? I typed in what type of government the ancient Rome had. It says republic. Now check this out, right? It says the Romans established a form of government, a republic, that was copied by countries for centuries. In fact, the government of the United States is based partly on Rome's model. The ladder to political power in the Roman Senate was different for the wealthy patricians than for the lower class plebeians. So America's government is like Rome. See, America is literally Rome coming back. All right, it's pretty much Rome reincarnated. You look at different buildings in America, you see for example, you'll see like pillars and everything. Okay, it'll literally look like Rome. You got the stadiums. All right, what is a stadium? It's a bunch of people sitting on, in seats in a circle, and in the middle is a field where athletes play. All right, in ancient Rome, you had a Colosseum. You had a bunch of people sitting on seats, or standing in a circle, and in the middle you had gladiators, and it was all entertainment. You see. So literally, America is like Rome coming back, and the government as well is another way. Okay. And you bet you if you're looking with yourself, you'll find more similarities. All right. But back in Daniel 7, right? It says, and it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it. Okay. So it was different because of its form of government. All right. It says, and it had 10 horns. Now, the 10 horns, okay, was, pretty much you right, because right now America, pretty much right now, all right, when it says in Revelation the 7 heads and 10 horns, all right, or the beast with 10 horns. They're talking about NATO and the EU, because now you have the modern 10 horns, all right, which is referring to the European Union, all right, which originally started with, 10 members, okay, but now it's been grown into more, right? But the ancient 10 horns of the Roman Empire were vassal states, okay, and Rome had the ancient Roman Empire had its 10 horns, okay, like the Anglo-Saxons, the Visigoths, the Lombards, the Ostrogoths, Burgundians, Suebes, Franks, Alemanni. All right, I don't remember all of them, but let me see: Franks, Alemanni, Lombards, Suebes, Visigoths, Anglo-Saxons, Burgundians. All right, I believe I'm missing like 3 more. All right, Salaki. All right, but verse 8, right? It says, I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of men, and a mouth speaking great things. Now, this little horn, it says there came up among them another little horn, and that little horn is talking about America. Because look, as it said, the 10 horns, right? They said, I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. Now, okay, dealing with those, those different names I just mentioned, right? Which were, some of the ancient, which were pretty much, the ancient 10 horns, right? Now dealing with some of those different things. These are, different, like, Germanic tribes, right? Because you have what? The Anglo-Saxons, right? Now, the brother, Quaramont had brought this out. I never saw this until he had mentioned it, right? You had, let me just type in Anglo-Saxon. Actually, okay, Angles or Anglo-Saxon, same thing, right? But their territory, okay, Anglo-Saxon territory on the map, all right, is what? Modern day Britain, right, or the UK, okay? See? Modern day Britain or the UK. Britain on map. Alright, it's the same exact thing. Great Britain, right? Another tribe called the Franks, right? Which is one of the ancient 10 horns, okay? The Franks, all right? Their territory was what? Modern day France. And it says here, dominating present day northern France, Belgium, and western Germany. But you look on the map, right? And look at France. It's the same territory. You see? It's the same territory that the Franks had inhabited. See? And then another one, the Visigoths, right? Visigoths territory. All right, and you see that they inhabit, all right, you see Visigoths here, and they inhabit what today is modern day Spain. Okay? See? So, when we go back to Daniel, the 7th chapter, and it says, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the root. I'm going to read it again. Daniel 7:8, I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn. Right? Talking about America. Before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. All right? Because, so when we looked at, the different, so we understand, the ancient 10 horns, okay, and these different Germanic tribes, right? And they inhabit, these different places that involved in that pretty much had land or territory over here in America or Northern America, in America before during the wars. Okay, you had the French, the Spanish, and the British over here in America. Okay, colonizing and having territory over here. All right, but then America, all right, the Americans, all right, pretty much came in, and fought with these different they pretty much fought with them. That's why you have what is what, that's why you have what is known as the Spanish American War. It says the Spanish American War began in the aftermath of the internal explosion of USS Maine in Havana Harbor in Cuba, leading to United States intervention in the Cuban War of Independence. Right, but you had the Spanish American War. Okay. You had the French American War. All right, so the French and Indian War was a third of the 7 Years' War, which pitted the North American colonies of the British Empire against those of the French, each side being supported by various Native American tribes. All right. So you had that war. Okay. Then you had the British War, British American War, also known as the War of 1812. Says the War of 1812 was fought by the United States and its allies against the United Kingdom and its allies in North America. It began when the United States declared war on Britain on June 18th, 1812. Okay. And learned about it. You learned about it in school. I remember hearing these terms in school and everything. All right. So but this is all part of prophecy. Okay. It says, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. You see, so you understand how this little horn is America. Okay. It says, and behold, in this horn were the eyes like the eyes of men. Talking about Americans. It's pretty much talking, like witchcraft and things like that. All right, and the mouth speaking great things. Pretty much like the blasphemy. Okay. All right. But continuing though, actually jumping down. All right. So, actually, no. Before I go further, okay, because the thing is, all right. So we recall how Daniel, okay, he was pretty much being shown these different empires that would come and be on earth, before Yahweh Shai came back and started ruling. And check this out, man. We in the last one before Yahweh Shai comes back. We in the last major empire that's going to rule the earth before Yahweh Shai comes back, man. This is it. We at the end. Okay, we're at the end. All right. There's no doubt about it. We are at the end. America, we're in the last stages, man, of America about to fall and tip over, man. We're in the last stages. We're at the end. Okay? But so we went how from Daniel saw these different empires rising and falling, okay? Daniel even, seen America, okay, and different 3 wars and everything. Daniel, was pretty much, shown us, pretty much Daniel was given this vision, okay, this prophecy, all right, and we have it today, okay, and, America is the one that we're currently living in right now, right? Now, something else about America, okay? Let's get Revelation chapter 17, all right, and wait 1 second, and it says the doom of Babylon, right? Now, I just want to jump down. All right. Yeah, this is the book of Revelation, chapter 17 and verse 8. It says, the beast that thou sawest was and is not. All right. Talking about, because pretty much, Actually, hold on, Salakia. Yeah, right. It says the beast that thou sawest was and is not. You read up, it talks about it. It gets into all this. Okay, is the beast that thou sawest was. It was the Roman Empire and is not, because the Roman Empire fell. Okay, but now but it came back as America, right? And shall ascend out of the bottomless pit. Now, before I move on, all right, I want to go into what it means by ascend out of the bottomless pit. Okay, let me get the word bottomless pit again. Bottomless pit. Revelation 20:3, and cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up and set a seal upon him that he should deceive the nations no more till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled, and after that he must be loosed a little season. Now the bottomless pit, when you read Revelation the 20th chapter, all right, and getting in the beginning, okay, well, verse 1, it says, and I saw an angel come down from heaven having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. This bottomless pit, the bottomless pit is Europe, okay, because Europe, all right, pretty much it's called a bottomless pit for us, it's because it's a very infertile land, okay. Salakia, and the land can be referenced to as a pit, okay. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, the 5th chapter. Jump down. All right, and verse 23 says, and said, I'm going to start from verse 22. My soul recovered the spirit of understanding, and I began to talk with the Most High again. Verse 23, and said, O Lord, that bearest rule of every wood of the earth, and of all the trees that thou hast chosen, the one only vine. So this is going, right here, getting into, some of the Lord's favorites. Because like people have favorites, the Lord has favorites, right? Now, let me see here. Okay, verse 24. Okay, the next verse. And of all lands of the whole world, thou hast chosen thee one pit. Right? But it says a land. Okay? It called a land, a pit. All right? It says, and of all lands of the whole world, thou hast chosen thee one pit. And that pit is what? The land of Israel. That's the Lord's favorite land. All right? But it referenced the land as a pit. So a land can be referred to as a pit. So when we see the bottomless pit, as a brother said perfectly, is Europe, because no matter how far you dig down, you're never gonna find those nutrient-rich resources. Okay, to pretty much for a fertile land. Okay, over there. All right, so it's called the bottomless pit for its lack of resources. All right, so now let's go back to Revelation, the 17th chapter, and verse 8 again. It says, the beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit. All right, so it said it's not, because Rome fell and came back as America, right? But then it says, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit. So what else is in Europe? Ask yourself, what else is in Europe? Great Britain. Where is Great Britain located? United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, UK, is an island country that sits northwest of mainland Europe. It is made up of mainland Great Britain, England, Wales, and Scotland, and the northern part of the island of Ireland. Northern Ireland. It has numerous smaller islands, right? But pretty much, because what? America came out of Great Britain. You had the thing with the Founding Fathers, and regarding the Founding Fathers, right? Now, I came across this, right? So, it says founding, because the Founding Fathers and, regarding the setting up of America, all right? It says Founding Fathers saw native people as savages. So not only did they, mess with the Southern Kingdom, okay, which are, so-called blacks, all right? But, Esau also when he came over here, he also messed with, part of the Northern Kingdom, where you so-called Native Americans, right? It says, This 4th of July, as in years past, the broadcasters at National Public Radio celebrated with an on-air reading of the Declaration of Independence. My ears perked up, and then my heart sank when I heard a specific passage. All right. It says, in a list of grievances against in a list of grievances against England's King George III. All right. The Declaration states, and this is part of, the Founding Fathers, what the Founding Fathers had written. The Founding Fathers are them devils, that pretty much was like at the core of pretty much, that they played that role in the Declaration of Independence, writing the U.S. Constitution and all of that, right? But they wrote this, for all you so-called Native Americans that see the so-called white man as your friend. Check this out. It says the Declaration states he has the, pretty much they are what's the name? Slocky. They're pretty much writing, some of their problems, about England's King George III, right? And one of them, it says this: he has excited domestic insurrections amongst us and has endeavored to bring on the inhabitants of our frontiers, the merciless Indian savages, whose known rule of war. So they called so-called Native Americans, right? They called them Indian savages. You see, the merciless Indian savages, which you so-called Native Americans, all right, are the tribe of Gad, all right, and you so-called Seminole Indians, you're the tribe of Reuben, okay. All right, but it says it has endeavored to bring on the inhabitants of our frontiers, the merciless Indian savages, whose known rule of warfare is an undistinguished destruction of all ages, sexes, and conditions. So here it is that they said that, they literally called you so-called Native Americans Indian savages, man. All right. It says, and the Native American person wrote this. It says, this article says, as a Native American, I was reminded of how little many people in this country know about what's actually in the Declaration of Independence, other than the part about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Because that's what everybody thinks of, right? Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. In fact, this document was signed by founding fathers who had a limited vision of unalienable rights. Look at the word unalienable. Definition. Another term for inalienable. But down here it says impossible to take away or give up. Right? It says they had a limited vision, of rights that, are impossible to give up, pretty much, they thought, right? But it's limited, so you can't try to say that, the so-called white man sees us as equal. He doesn't see us as Israelites as equal, man. All right? It says, obviously, this white male club, because that's what they were, it was a group of so-called white men, the founding fathers. It says this white male club, it says obviously, meaning what? Let's look at that word obviously. It says, in a way that is easily perceived or understood clearly. So if it's easy to understand, then Jake that's calling the so-called white man the devil, Salakia, that was saying. Pretty much, if it's easy to understand, then Jake that thinks that the so-called white man is their friend and not their enemy, then it's like you retarded, man. Okay, it says obviously this white male club did not extend those unalienable rights to women and African slaves. And when it came to American Indians, the aforementioned passage was an outright call to war against the first people of this continent. Yeah, the first people of this continent. Because unlike they teach you, pretty much, because when Esau came to America, North America, right? They weren't the first people here, man. Our people were already here. All right? It says it was a fight that continued throughout this nation's history, often led by U.S. presidents. So you see, so this devil is against us, man. If you don't believe, if you think that this is just, no, that's just somebody's like pretty much, if you think that this is just somebody's, like fake or something, like pretty much false info or something. If you think that this is something like that, well, maybe this will, you know, maybe this will show you. And this is on archives.gov, so this is literally on the government's website. Declaration of Independence of Transcription. Let's look at that word, transcription. It says a written or printed representation of something. Okay. Now, so it's giving you a so it's pretty much the Declaration of Independence, right? Now, which the founding fathers wrote. You see, now let's just jump down to where they wrote it in here. I'm gonna show you. Okay, right here. He talking about that king at the time, I forget, is King George III, England, pretty much the king of England, all right, at the time, says he has excited domestic insurrections amongst us and has endeavored to bring on the inhabitants of our frontiers, the merciless Indian savages, whose known rule of warfare is an undistinguished destruction of all ages, sexes, and conditions. You see? So this is literally in the U.S. Declaration of Independence. You see? So this this is, yeah, man. This is in here. The so-called white men ain't your friend. They ain't your friend, man. They not your friend. And guess what? You know what they did? You know what they did after that? You know, with these founding fathers, they made Mount Rushmore. You know, they put up these same devils, you know, on a mountain, okay, and carved them in, okay, on a mountain, Mount Rushmore. All right. Now, I'm the creator and purpose. Who created Mount Rushmore and why? Actually, let me give her the reason. Actually, hold on. Why is? Let me get it on Wikipedia. Mount Rushmore. It says the Mount Rushmore National Memorial is a national memorial centered on a colossal sculpture carved into the granite face of Mount Rushmore in the Black Hills near Keystone, South Dakota. Right. It says the sculpture features the 60-foot tall heads of 4 United States presidents: George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Theodore Roosevelt, and Abraham Lincoln. And Abraham Lincoln, he actually got, because I thought it was the 4 founding fathers initially, but Abraham Lincoln, he had a quote that he was pretty much upset with the fact that when he first got in office, he pretty much got in office and pretty much what was brought to his attention about, so-called freeing the slaves. And he was upset about that, It says, so he's not good either, all right? It says Abraham Lincoln, chosen to represent the nation's birth, which involved a lot of bloodshed of the Israelites. As a matter of fact, let me get this precept and come back to this, Revelation 17, Lord willing. This is the book of Numbers 35 and verse 33. And it says, so ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defileth the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it. Okay? So there you have it. All right? So it says, the nation's birth, growth, which still, had to do with our which involved our bloodshed as well. It says development and preservation respectively, and this country was built off the backs of Israelites, man. Okay, let me get this as well. This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2 and verse 12. And it says, woe to him that, meaning death and destruction, to him that buildeth a town with blood, establisheth a city by iniquity. You know? See? So, and guess who did that? The so-called white man. All right? You know? But yet, so this devil, he did all of that, right? And now but they did all that, specifically just regarding these founding fathers. They did all of that, all right? And they stood for this America, okay? And this America, man, this shit is hell, okay? Still, and even back then, it involved a lot of Israelite bloodshed, right? But this is what they stand for, and guess what? They carved these men's faces into the side of a mountain and honored it. This also reminds me of that Ark of Titus in 70 A.D. Another fall, another instance where of our people's downfall. Esau commemorated it by carving something and making something out of it, man. So don't you think we're gonna be happy when you fall, Esau? Don't you think we're gonna celebrate it when the Lord comes back and destroys you and takes you into slavery? Hell yeah, we're gonna be happy. Let me get this precept real quick. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 25 and verse 7. And it says, "There be 9 things which I have judged in mine heart to be happy, and the 10th I will utter with my tongue." And it says here, a man that hath joy of his children, right? But then it says here, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy. You see? He that liveth to see the fall of his enemy. Okay? And they would see, look, Esau was happy because we're his enemy as well. Just like he's ours. All right? We're his. I mean, yeah, just like Esau is our enemy, we're his enemy. All right? And they were happy to see us fall. Okay? They put up the Ark of Titus, man. Go research what the Ark of Titus is about. All right? If you don't know already. Okay? So they were happy to see our fall. Okay? So don't you think that we're gonna be happy to see his fall? Hell yeah, man. And guess what? All of this thing, because these devils, they like to say, oh, slavery was a long time ago. That killing the Indian Native Americans, that was a long time ago. Forget about it. But guess what? This is the book of Revelation, chapter 18. And verse 5. For her sins, talking about America, and guess who rules America? Esau. For her sins have reached unto heaven. And what is America's pretty much the main sin or first sin? I forgot how you want to call it, but it's slavery. Okay? Bear with me 1 second. Slovakia. Salakia, noise around the house. All right, Revelation 18 and 5. So, pretty much, America's main sin or first sin was slavery. Okay, but then also, even around that time, you had them. You pretty much had what? You had them killing off Gadites, man. But it says for her, and so everything America's done from that point, and even up to now, okay, all the wickedness America's done, it says for her sins have reached unto heaven, and guess what? And the Most High hath remembered her iniquities. So the Lord remembers, regardless of Esau saying forget about it and everything. The Heavenly Father remembers, all right. And it's written that we're going to rejoice when this place goes down. I say we, Lord, willing, of the elect as well, but the elect gonna rejoice, man. This is Revelation chapter 18 and verse 20. Rejoice over her, meaning rejoice over America's destruction, thou heaven, and ye holy apostles and prophets, for Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai hath avenged you on her. Yeah, the Lord is about to destroy America, man. You Israelites should be happy. You so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, you should be happy this place is going down, because once again, America is the last standing kingdom. All right, the last pretty much major empire is going to be ruling before Yahweh Shai's return. All right, we in the last one, man. Because this place has been hell for us. Look. So this is back in the book of Daniel, right? Chapter 7. All right. Bear with me 1 second. I don't know why this thing is taking long like this, man. All right. Daniel, the 7th chapter. Okay. Now. All right. So this is the book of Daniel, chapter 7. All right. Starting at verse 15. And it says the vision interpreted. Daniel 7 and 15. I, Daniel, was grieved in my spirit in the midst of my body, and the visions of my head troubled me. I came near unto one of them that stood by and asked him the truth of all this. So he told me and made me know the interpretation of the things. Okay. So bear with me just 1 second here. All right. So when it says, verse 17, so now the vision is getting broken down to Daniel, right? These great beasts, which are four kings, which shall rise out of the earth. So these beasts weren't literal beasts that we read, okay? They were, pretty much kingdoms, empires, okay? Rulerships that would happen on the earth. These major ones, all right, that would happen, before Yahweh shall return. All right, verse 18, but the saints of the Most High, shall the Israelites, more specifically the elect of the Israelites, all right, shall take the kingdom. Yeah, we're going to take the kingdom. We're going to take rulership. Because when Yahweh Shai comes back, all right, pretty much under Yahweh Shai, the elect are going to take rulership, man. All right, we're going to take the kingdom, We ain't going to ask for it nicely. No, we're not going to sit here and make trades and share amounts of money with Esau to hand over the kingdom. No, we're going to take the kingdom. We're going to take Yahweh Shai and his elect are going to take this world. They're going to have the whole world. And then guess what? This is where because how are we going to be able to take it? First off, you got to understand, right? This devil, the so-called white man, he was blessed with the blessing of the sword, right? So this devil has all these types. You think he's just going to go down without a fight? But pretty much what I'm trying to get to is the elect. By this time, the elect are already going to have been beamed up into the chariot. Their bodies are going to be changed. Okay? They're going to have those immortal, incorruptible, impenetrable bodies. All right? They're going to be 100% righteous. So then they can't be taken down. Okay? And under Yahweh Shai, all right? The elect are going to take the kingdom, man. Okay? They're not going to be able to beat Yahweh Shai and his elect. All right? They're going to take the kingdom, man. Okay? Scriptures say, all right? And once again, this rulership is going to, Yahweh Shai's kingdom that he's coming back is going to be over the whole world. Okay? Once again, back in Daniel, the 2nd chapter, right? That stone. Okay? Daniel chapter 2. And verse 35 says, then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken in pieces together and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors, and the wind carried them away, and no place was found for them, right? And the stone, which is Yahweh Shai, that smote the image, became a great mountain and filled the whole earth. And that mountain is a government. And it's talking about the kingdom of heaven. It says filled the whole earth, meaning pretty much this is talking about, the kingdom, that global rulership that's coming. Do you think Yahweh Shai is going to rule one piece of the earth? No, man. He's going to rule the whole world. It's going to be on the earth, you see? So how it's not like Christianity teaches you. It ain't going to be somewhere up in the heavens just floating around. No, it's going to be on the earth. Okay? This is, well, actually, I'll just get back to Daniel. All right, but finishing the point I want to make in Daniel real quick on this real quick. Daniel 7 and 18. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. So the kingdom of heaven is gonna last forever. We ain't never gonna go down. We always gonna have the kingdom. It's meant for us and it's gonna be for us. Okay, and we're gonna have it forevermore. You see? And if you can't, how you gonna take people down and you can't even kill them? so this cuts Nate saying that, Native IUIC saying that they're gonna rise back up and everything. No, we're gonna have the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. All right. But continuing on verse 19, then I would know the truth of the fourth beast, talking about the ancient Roman Empire, which was diverse from all the others. So like exceeding dreadful, whose teeth were of iron, and his nails of brass, right? And the Roman Empire's military, all right? It says, which devoured, break in pieces, and stamped the residue with his feet. Okay? Yeah, because it says it devoured, break in pieces, because once again, that Roman Empire conquered, a lot of the known world back then, right? Verse 20, and of the 10 horns that were in his head, once again, those vast like the Visigoths, Ostrogoths, Anglo-Saxons, Franks, Burgundians, Lombards, Suebies, etc., right? And of the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell. We went into that, America and the Spanish-American War, the French-American War, the British-American War, all right? Even of that horn that had eyes and a mouth that spake very great things, all right? Then it says here, whose look was more stout than his fellows, all right? Let me look this up. Stout. Look at that word, stout. Strong's H7229. The Hebrew word here is Rob, and it says great, Captain Chief, right? But then let me see what it says in the lexicon. Great, this be a great thing. Let me look it up here, right? On Google, let me look at the definition of the word stout. And it's a stout of a person somewhat fat or heavy built, all right? Of an object strong and thick. Okay, let me see. Brave, determined. All right, let me see what it says here. On the Merriam-Webster, stout. Strong characters is bold, brave, bold, right? Well, pretty much. All right. Let me see what it says. Bold. Fearless before danger, showing or requiring a fearless, daring spirit. Okay. It says impudent, presumptuous. Let's go presumptuous. It says overstepping due bounds as of propriety or courtesy, talking liberties. All right. Impudent. It says, check this out. Impudent, marked by contemptuous or cocky boldness or disregard of others. All right. So when we read back in Daniel 7, all right, and it says that little horn, okay, whose look was more stout than his fellows, that little horn is America. It says whose look was more stout, which stout going back, impudent, meaning what? Pretty much prideful, okay, was more stout than his fellows. Okay, that little horn, pretty much, what does it mean by looking more stout than his fellows? So it's talking about how America looks down on other European nations. Okay, all right. So regarding this little horn America, right? Verse 21, I beheld, and that same horn America, that's that little horn, made war with the saints. Who were the saints? You should notice. Salakia. Salakia. It's the book of Psalm chapter 148, verse 14. He also exalted the horn of his saints. Salakia. He also exalted the horn of his people. The praise of all his saints, even of the children of Israel, a people near unto him, praise ye Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. So the saints are the Israelites. And there's other verses in the Bible to prove that the saints are the Israelites. Okay? I'm going to it right now. Actually, let me see if I get this one. It's another one. 17. Or it might be 18. Yeah, 18. And it says, Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 18, verse 1. Nevertheless, thy saints had a very great light, whose voice... bear me 1 second. Let's lock you. It's a lot. Bear me 1 second. Babako Shah. Trying to find something. All right. It says, nevertheless, thy saints had a very great light, whose voice they hearing and not seeing their shape, because they had not suffered the same things, they counted them happy. Right? And it says, whose voice they hearing, not seeing their shape. Talking about the Egyptians, because the Egyptians were in darkness, going back to the plague of darkness in Egypt, right? This is just another, precept to pretty much prove who the saints are the Israelites. But let me jump down here, right? Wisdom of Solomon 18:5. And when they had determined to slay the babes of the saints, and what is this talking about? Back, you can read in Exodus, the first chapter, either Exodus, the first, second chapter, all right? How the Pharaoh, he wanted to kill the Hebrew male child. All right. It says, and when they had determined to slay the babes of the saints, but who were those saints who were them children that those babies that the Pharaoh wanted to kill? Those were Israelite babies, right? And when they had determined to slay the babes of the saints, but it's calling the Israelite saints, the babes of the saints, the babes of the Israelites. See, one child being cast forth, talking about Moses, and saved to reprove them, thou tookest away the multitude of their children and destroyed them altogether in a mighty water. But it's showing you that the Israelites is the saints. Okay? It's just, some precepts. So back in Daniel 7:21, it says, I beheld, and the same horn, talking about America, made war with the saints and prevailed against them. Okay? And this is how? What is it talking about? It's talking pretty much how this, devil, what did he do? He took so-called blacks in slavery, on cargo slave ships, all right? He brought them, to the western part of the world, etc. Look what he did to Native Americans over here, man. So this is, that same horn making war with the saints, all right? It says, and prevailed against them, all right? Because what? Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, we had sinned against our power. And these were part of the curses, all right, as well as prophecy, because even regarding Gad and Reuben, all right, what did it say? Gad, a troop shall overcome him. Reuben, unstable as water, thou shalt not excel, all right, because Esau took him down, okay? Esau had took down the so-called Native Americans, the so-called Seminole Indians, all right? He brought blacks over here, so-called blacks over here. So, yeah, he prevailed against us, and this is what? Because prophecy, and pretty much the Lord ordained for it to happen. You see, once again, that scripture, he said, but the Most High is the judge. He put it down one and setteth up another. Okay? That same horn made war with the saints and prevailed against them. They spilled our blood over here till they killed us. In slavery, they did stuff to us. It was horrible. All right? You see, but verse 22, until the Ancient of Days came, and judgment was given to the saints of the Most High, and the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom. Right? So, that was that, but I think I jumped the gun a little bit. Okay. Yeah. All right. So this is hell. But check it out. Because that's not all there is to it. You see? Because right here, Daniel 7:11. All right, and I'm going to get a precept in a minute. It says, I beheld then. So, finishing from, we read what? Daniel 7:8, the little horn, the mouth speaking great things. And jump down to verse 11, right? It says, I beheld then because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake. It told you up here that the horn, a mouth speaking great things, right? But, so this little horn, it says the horn spake, so it's talking about that little horn, which is America, right? It says, I beheld even till the beast was slain, and his body destroyed and given to the burning flame. You see? So, what is this talking about? This is talking about America being destroyed by nuclear missiles, the nuclear fire that's coming. Okay, that second death. All right, America's going to be destroyed by nuclear fire, the burning flame. Okay, so this ain't the that what we read, what we living right now. This ain't the end of it, man. This is not the end of it. America is destined for destruction. Now let me get a precept. All right, I said I was going to come back to this. All right, the little Bible, and this shows you that the scriptures, man, and the prophets, they saw the same thing, but they just pretty much seen it in different ways. Scriptures talk about the same thing, but say it in different ways. This is Revelation, the 17th chapter, going back to where I was. Revelation, the 17th chapter, and 8th verse. The beast that thou sawest and is not, was Roman Empire, and ancient Roman Empire fell and came back as America, right? It says, and shall ascend of the bottomless pit. America came out of Great Britain, the whole thing with the founding fathers and all of that. But it says, and go into perdition. And you look at this word perdition. Strong's G 684. And it says, destroying, utter destruction. You see? Utter destruction. All right? And how is America going to be destroyed? By that nuclear fire? Jumping down, all right, verse 11. Actually, no. Let me jump down to verse 16. It says, in the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, and this 10 horns talking about NATO, Slovakia. This 10 horns talking about the European Union, not NATO, the European Union. So which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. The whore is America. All right, because in the first verse, Revelation, the 17th chapter, follow along, Slovakia, says, and there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. All right, so this talking about the great whore, America, which is that great whore, right? It says, in the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. Because America's going to do something to make these other European nations hate it. Okay, something America will do. All right. It says, it shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Those nuclear missiles, man. That's what's gonna destroy America. It's gonna burn it with fire. All right. You see, this is the same thing as when it said in Daniel, I beheld even till the beast was slain and his body destroyed and given to the burning flame. You see, why in the Old Testament it's talking about a flame? Here it says fire. It's talking about the same thing. Okay. Revelation chapter 18 and verse 8. Therefore shall her, America's plagues, come in one day, death and mourning and famine. Okay. And she, America, shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Lord Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, who judgeth her. You see? So the Lord is going to burn America, man. The Lord's going to have America to be burned. All right, it's over with. It's over with for this place, man. We're the last major ruling empire. All right, because after America goes down, all right, because these empires, they rise and fall. Then the kingdom of heaven, which is an immortal empire, is gonna rise and never fall. And only then is the earth going to be governed on the true righteousness. Okay, that's what we look forward to. 2 Peter 3 and 13. All right. You see? So this is prophecy, man. And guess what? Now, the Israelites, right? Because we in this last final, rulership on the earth. But see, and we're talking here now we got to the point where the Lord purpose is to destroy America, right? Now check this out. This is the book of Amos, chapter 9 and verse 8. And it says, behold, the eyes of the Lord Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai are upon a sinful kingdom. And the sinful kingdom is America. Sin is when you break the laws of the Lord. So pretty much America, when you look at America, you got HOMOs running rampant. You got people eating whatever they want over here, adultery running rampant, etc., right? So America is a sinful kingdom, but the Lord says, and I will destroy it from off the face of the earth. How? By those nuclear missiles. You see? I'm going to come back here. Just getting precept upon precept. Joel, the 2nd chapter. And they're showing you that this place is going to be desolate, man. Joel chapter 2, starting verse 3, to the point. A fire devours before them. The them is talking about the nuclear missiles, because the front of the nuclear missile has what's called a nuclear warhead, and that's where really the fire comes from. Okay? It says, and behind them a flame burneth. Talking about, on the back side of the nuclear missile, you have that fire, that fire that propels it. That smoke and fire that propels the nuclear missile to where it has to go, right? Because the land, America, is as the Garden of Eden before them, meaning before the missiles hit, everything is going to be intact. It's going to be like a normal day. People walking up and down the street, cars everywhere, etc., driving here and there, It's just like a regular day. It says, and behind them, meaning after the nuclear missiles hit, a desolate wilderness. America's going to be destroyed, a desolate wilderness. Yea, and nothing shall escape them. So this is how the Lord is going to destroy America, man. All right? Let's get that precept. All right, so this is how the Lord is going to destroy America. Let's lock it back in Amos, the 9th chapter and 8th verse. Behold, the eyes of the Lord Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai are upon the kingdom, the sinful kingdom, and I will destroy it from off the face of the earth. And we just read how the Lord is going to destroy it off the face of the earth, the nuclear missiles, saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, saith Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Right? Because the Lord has an elect that he's going to deliver. He's not going to see the elect are the nation of Israel only. And the Lord is going to deliver them. All right? The Lord's not going to suffer them to be burnt up in this second death. The Lord ain't going to have them be destroyed in the second death. You see? Because the day of the Lord, which is when the nuclear missiles are shot off and Yahweh Shai returns, which is all going to be, simultaneously happening while World War III is going on. You see? Because Yahweh Shai is going to return during the midst of World War III. And in World War III, and on that day Yahweh Shai returns, the nuclear missiles is going to be shot. Okay? And, man, just because when Yahweh Shai comes back, right, he's gathering all of the elect from all over the world. Okay? Let me get this. He said it himself. All right. I don't know how to turn red letter on here, but Yahweh Shai said this, Matthew chapter 24, starting in verse 30. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man, Yahweh Shai, coming in the clouds of heaven, the so-called UFOs, the chariots of the Lord, with power and great glory. This is Yahweh Shai making his second return to this world, right? Verse 31. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect, right? From the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. So when Yahweh Shai comes back, the elect all over the world is going to get beamed up. Because the elect ain't only here in America. You got the elect in other countries around the world. In other nations around the world. On different continents. So when Yahweh Shai comes back with all them chariots that's going to cover the sky, he's going to beam up his elect. Okay? But specifically regarding here in America. Okay? This is Revelation chapter 18, verse 4, It says, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. All right? And this ain't talking about come out of the ways of America and Babylon the Great. No. It's talking about when Yahweh Shai comes back and beams up his elect. All right? Because one of them plagues is the nuclear missiles, which is going to, burn up America. That's when the beast given to the burning flame. Zechariah 14 and 12. And this shall be the plague wherewith Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. You see, so this is what's coming. The nuclear destruction is what's coming, man. All right, but the Lord ain't going to allow his elect to be caught up in that. You see? Isaiah chapter 26 and verse 20. Come, my people, enter down to thy chambers. And the Lord's and the chambers is talking about them chariots. All right? Because the elect gonna get beamed up. And shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself as it were for a little moment until the indignation be overpassed. Because the elect gonna get beamed up and changed into incorruptible and immortal bodies. You see? The Lord is doing something. So you look at it, from a wide view. Here it is. These kingdoms, all right, they rose and fell, and now we're in the last kingdom, okay? And, within this last kingdom, we had, we woke up. Now, fast forward to now, we woke up to where we woke up to who we are. The Lord rose up his prophets, his men. He gave his men the correct understanding, okay? And his men, are now teaching, all right? And the elect are waking up. The elect of the nation of Israel are waking up, all right? Trying to get everything together. Pretty much trying to get themselves together, okay? And enduring, okay? And meanwhile, you have Jake here, all right? The rest, well, not the rest, but, you got Israelites that don't believe here in the land of America, and they're going to get destroyed, Zechariah 13:8, all right? But, pretty much things are leading up to this destruction, okay? And right now, waiting on them, a couple more prophecies. The MOTB has to be made mandatory, okay? That Jacob's trouble has to happen. We waiting on this. You got Isaiah 4:1, all right? It's not much we have to go left, man. You really look at it. It's not much, okay? You already got tensions brewing in the Middle East. So the Lord is at work, as is written here in Isaiah chapter 45 and verse 7. And it says, Salakia. And it says, I from the light and create darkness, I make peace and create evil. I, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, do all these things. So the Lord is the one that, makes the peace and creates evil as well. All right? The Lord bringing these, and evil meaning bad times. So the Lord is bringing these bad times upon the world. All right? And that really bad times are going to be really them nuclear missiles. All right? But once again, the elect is going to get up into that those chambers, that chariot. You see? It says, and shut thy doors about thee, hide thyself as it were for a little moment until the indignation be overpassed, the nuclear destruction. You see? This is Revelation chapter 11 starting at verse 12. And it says, and they heard a great voice from heaven saying unto them, come up hither. And they, the elect, ascended up to heaven in a cloud, a so-called UFO, a chariot of the Lord, and their enemies beheld them. Right? Verse 13, in the same hour was there a great earthquake. So it says in that earthquake, it's talking about the nuclear destruction. The earth shall roll to and fro like a drunkard. So the same hour was there a great earthquake. Meaning, as soon as the elect went up, into the chariot, the nuclear destruction happened, right? And the 10th part of the city fell. And the city is talking about America, all right? And the 10th part of the city fell. And when you look at it, go into the etymology of that word 10th, all right? It goes into Deca, Strong G 1176 Deca, and it says 10, okay? So it says, so in the 10th, so what it say? Should say in the 10 parts of the city fell, because what? America, right? Is divided into 10 FEMA regions. As you can see, this is literally on the FEMA website. All right. America is divided into 10 FEMA regions, man. Okay. So it says in this, so pretty much meaning when the nuclear missiles hit America, all of America is going to be destroyed. See, but the elect is already going to be in a chariot. It says, and in the earthquake were slain of men 7,000. Meaning in the nuclear destruction were slain of men 7,000, meaning completion. So pretty much everyone in America, when the nuclear missiles touch down, is going to be destroyed. Okay? When nuclear missiles hit, it's going to be destroyed. So it's useless to even try to make a doomsday bunker here in America, because you're going to be destroyed. All right, it says, and the remnant were affrighted, meaning those that elect that got beamed up into the chariot, okay, they're going to even be a little shook at seeing the destruction, man. They're going to be a little afraid in those new incorruptible bodies. Even in that, this prophecy. This is the wrath of the Lord, man. It's coming, okay? Let me look at that word remnant real quick.
Strong's G 3062. Loipas. Loipas.
Loipas. And it says, remaining, the rest, yeah. Because as we read, the Lord ain't going to completely destroy the house of Jacob. He's going to have an elect he delivers. The rest of any number or class under consideration. So the Lord is considering the elect, you know, with a certain distinction and contrast the rest who are not of a specific class or number. Yeah, the elect is the best of their kind, as one of the definitions tell you. All right. The rest of the things that remain, you know, because there's going to be Israelites down here getting destroyed. All right. It says they were, you know, a little afraid of the destruction. It says, and gave glory to the God of heaven. You know, so the elect is going, the elect is going to get delivered, and you see, by that time, Yahweh Shai is going to be in the earth, and Yahweh Shai is going to come back, and he's going to set up the kingdom. You see, so this is Daniel's vision is still playing out. So let me just read a little bit more back in Daniel, the 7th chapter. From verse 11 again. I beheld then, because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake, I beheld even till the beast was slain and his body destroyed and given to the burning flame, talking about America's destruction. Verse 12. As concerning the rest of the beasts, you know, the other heathen nations, they had their dominion taken away. All right, because what? They're going to be in slavery, right? Yet their lives were prolonged for a season in time, because, you know, the heathens, aside from Esau, you know, the heathens, they're not going to be destroyed like Esau will in the kingdom. Okay, they're going to go back to their lands after slavery. You know, but they're going to be tributaries to us, right? You know, but the so-called white men eat the house of Edom, as it says in, let's get it actually, Obadiah, chapter 1 and verse 18. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them. So after serving their period of slavery in the kingdom of heaven, Esau is going to get burnt off the face of the earth. All Edomites, right? It says, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai hath spoken it. Okay, see, look. And there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai has spoken it. Let's look at that word house. Strong's H 1004, Bayath. And it says house, dwelling, habitation, shelter, abode of animals. Look, household, family. Right here. Family of descendants as an organized body. Yeah, you saw white people, you descend from Esau. So in the kingdom of heaven, after you serve your 1,000 years of slavery, you're going to be destroyed off the face of the earth. You're going to be burnt. That's when your extermination is going to come. See? So this is what's coming, man. You know, this is what's coming. We are in the last, once again, we in the last rulership before Yahweh Shai returns, man. You know, once regarding that elect getting beamed up, let me get this too. Revelation, the 15th chapter, starting from verse 1. And I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them is filled up the wrath of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Verse 2. And I saw as it were a sea of glass, talking about the firmament, mingled with fire, because of nuclear destruction. And them that had gotten the victory over the beast, and over his image, and over his mark, and over the number of his name, talking about the elect, stand on a sea of glass, having the harps of the Most High, because the elect are going to get beamed up into the chariot, and they're going to be above the firmament watching the nuclear destruction take place. Okay? That's what this is talking about. All right? So yeah, brothers, we in the last one, man. But you see, as the dream leads up, the elect going to take the kingdom, you know, and guess what? Yahweh Shai's kingdom is going to be established. All right? Daniel 7 and 27. And the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom. See, this is going to be This is the kingdom of heaven which we wait for, man. All right? Patiently waiting for, which Yahweh Shai is going to bring when he comes back. So then all dominions shall serve and obey him. Yeah, meaning meaning the heathen nations, they're going to obey Yahweh Shai. All nations are going to serve and obey Yahweh Shai and his elect. You see? Verse 28, hitherto is the end of the matter. As for me, Daniel, my cogitation has much troubled me, and my countenance changed in me, but I kept the matter in my heart. And let me just get two more precepts, because I wanted to get this as well. This Revelation chapter 2, right? Yahweh Shai said this. All right? You know, regarding the nuclear fire to come. Wait. Is it the next chapter? No. It's in Revelation 2. Salakia. Revelation 2:11. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. He that overcometh, meaning he that endured to the end, shall not be hurt of the second death, which is the nuclear destruction. You see? So you got to endure all the way to the end. All right? You know? Got to endure to the end, and you won't be hurt of the second death. And there were more things I wanted to get, because I wanted to go in Revelation the 20th chapter, but you know, I ain't gonna do that right now. All right, Lord will maybe in another lesson. All right, but I wanted to get certain points out of that chapter. I mean to say, all right, but pretty much Yahweh Shai is saying here, he that endured to the end, you're not gonna be hurt of the nuclear destruction. So endure, man. You gotta endure to the end, whether you be a martyr or a pilgrim. All right, you gotta endure to the end. Hold on to the faith to the end, man. All right. So, hey, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I just want to bring this out, you know, some history and prophecy as well. See, so we at the end, and at the end of the end, you know, or the beginning stages of the end of the end. You know, we only got a couple more prophecies left. MOTB, Jacob's trouble. All right, you know, etc. So, with that, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I want to give all the praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash, that belong us to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, every well. Peace, blessings, and salutations to the elect. Shalom to the elect.